Hello, my name is Andeea, and I'm your host. Welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. I'm a licensed counselor and quantum health coach, and this podcast is all about exploring the new quantum health paradigm. My mission is to simplify the quantum biology practices and principles so you can thrive in your recovery. I'm so happy you're here, and remember, this is for educational purposes only. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I was really concentrating on studying for my quantum biology board exam, and I have passed. So I am now a board certified quantum biology practitioner, and that is in the books, and I can concentrate on other things besides studying with my free time. And want to also wish you all a happy new year. I know there are it's like for me, I'm just feeling really fresh and I feel like just so accomplished, even though one of the things that I haven't been able to stay on top of, which I had shared with you all a couple months back, is I won't be able to do weekly podcasts on this podcast anymore. I do hope you're tuning into Quantum Healthy, which does get updated every other week with a new guest. I really think that that is from all of the education that you've gotten on this channel, me teaching about addiction through the lens of quantum biology, that is just going to propel you because it's going to allow you to find the people that I know and the people that I've been studying and the people that have taught me this information. It is such a blessing to know these people and to be able to chat with them on the podcast. So, all of the fruits of your labor of listening to everything here, or if you've taken my course, Quantum Recovery Reset, thank you so much for that. This is going to it's just going to be supplemental. It's like the next step, if you will. If you've been a listener of, I'm speaking to the people who have been a listener of this channel and not so much the Quantum Healthy one. And I just appreciate you all so much. You're still downloading episodes despite me going on a little bit of a hiatus. I didn't mean for it to be that long of a gap between posting an episode. So it was just because of that studying, and I also work a full-time job, and year end is a quite stressful time for that for my full-time job. So all of that, we're moving forward into the new year. Now today's topic is why I don't identify in like recovery meetings as an alcoholic or an addict. All right. So if you've heard my story, it makes sense why I don't say I am an alcoholic. But I never will say, you'll never hear me saying I am an addict. I used to say that because really truly believe that that is the first step is acknowledging that we have a problem. And that's how we do it in the rooms. And, I do go to many meetings besides traditional Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And I identify myself as a grateful human in recovery. That is what I say. And so today, I want to share with you the three biggest reasons that are through the lens of quantum biology of why I do not say I am an addict anymore. Now, I am going on, I'm 16 years in recovery now. I'm recovered, and I will also, well, we can start with that. So you've heard me share about the words recovered and recovery. So it's really about how and our intention is and how we're defining that. So in the Roman numeral 26 page of the big book, it says we are men and women recovered. And that's always been so important for me to hear because it is the past tense. We are recovered. And the problem with me is for many years into my recovery, at least 10 years into my recovery, I thought I needed to heal myself. I was always thinking there was healing to be done. And I mean, you put a detox or a diet or something in front of me, and I thought I needed to do it because I needed to heal myself and I was broken and I had done so much damage. And most certainly, we have learned through past episodes that we have done mitochondrial damage to ourselves by using a chemical, and that includes alcohol, all inclusive here. Alcohol is chemical too. So we have done damage. hence why we think we always need this healing. So, that being said, it wasn't serving me to use really the word recovery because for me, at that time anyway, my definition of recovery was I need healing. I'm still recovering. And so it's more about that recovering. So now when you hear me say I am in recovery, what I mean by that, the definition and intention behind that is I'm loving myself. There's love behind that message. It is me loving myself, loving my body for the first time in my life. It is me being in recovery, as in I work a program. I am always working on myself because, I'm not perfect. There's always things. We're always going to be working on ourselves. And for me, in recovery, that's what that means. That's what that term means. Recovering or in recovery prior to that, I was in a definition that was not serving me at all. And so I hope that you can take something from that and you can really embrace being recovered because we are no longer in our active use. So we are recovered. Many of you listening are in long-term recovery, and I define that as 2 years plus. The reason I do is just because of the literature and my learnings and the science behind like post-acute withdrawal last anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. So I put in my mind, I like that's the early years of recovery for me. And then anything 2 plus is long term. And also, please, if you are like listening to this and you are a year in recovery or 6 months or whatever, and you want to tell yourself you are in long term recovery, by all means do so because you are sending that message to your subconscious mind that you no longer engage in behaviors that don't serve your biology and that don't serve your spiritual being. Okay. So I'm just for the nature of when I speak on this podcast, when I say early recovery or long term, that's how I'm defining it. So I always just like to clarify that. Now, I want to get into the 3 reasons why I do not say I am an addict. Reason number one is when we say I am statements, that is how we change our identity. Like you will hear affirmations like I am strong, I am rich, I am loving, I am enough. Like all of these I am statements are so we can plant seeds in our subconscious mind because our subconscious mind is that software programming that's always running. And whatever we tell it, it believes. It's like a little naive child. Like, you tell that our subconscious it's going to believe it. It doesn't know what's good or bad. So when we talk crap to ourselves and really negative, like I'm a piece of crap, I'm not good enough. Oh, look it, I have confirmation bias, see what happened, blah blah blah, like all of that justifying, like all of those character defects if you will, whatever you want to call them. Like that's engaging in your subconscious mind. You're planting a bunch of seeds when we negatively talk to ourselves. We don't want to plant those seeds. We want to plant the seeds of positivity, of love, because love is the highest vibration. That's what we strive to vibrate at is the feeling of love. So that being said, I should speak in I statements here. When I say I am an addict, I'm giving my subconscious mind the messaging that I'm an addict. Now, what do I marry with the term I am an addict? Well, I connect my active use with the term I am an addict. And that is no longer what I engage in. It's no longer what serves me. It is my past. Most certainly do not want to live in my past. So I do not say an I am statement that's negative. And when I say I'm an addict, to me, right now, that is not serving me. Now, at the beginning, you remember me saying that that was very important at the beginning for me to acknowledge that I'm an addict because I needed to be aware of that in order to heal, in order to get into recovery. But once I started going to meetings and it was years down the road, that like it was actually many years down the road before I started going to meetings. You can go back and listen to my story, but I didn't know about meetings until I was 7 years in recovery already. So, but right away, I didn't feel like it was serving me to say I am an addict. I didn't feel good. And it's also, I've processed this topic with people, hundreds and hundreds of people in my group, it has never sat well with many people. Like, why do I have to say I'm an alcoholic? Why do I have to say I'm an addict? So I would explain this whole thing that I'm sharing with you today, hoping that it can serve you in your life and your so reason number one, I do not want being an addict as a part of my identity. That's a part of my past. I am not an addict anymore. I used to be, I was for one for 12 years, and that was my identity then, and it is not my identity now. And one of the things we want to really embrace about identity is we need to embody the person that we want to be. We don't want to be addicts and alcoholics anymore, right? Like this is the whole point of recovery. So we want to embrace this new identity. Who is Andeea, that Andeea loves her body. Andeea is successful. Andeea knows what serves her. She is guided. She is leading people. She is serving people. She is a teacher. If I didn't believe in myself, you guys wouldn't be listening to this. You wouldn't. I've had to change my identity as being a leader in the recovery space. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to serve you how I want to serve you. Like, I want to reach the millions and millions of people who are struggling, who are in long-term recovery struggling, not just struggling, but also the people who are in recovery and are doing the work. I want to help you have clarity. Like, I am here to serve you. And if I was continuing saying I'm an addict, I would be constantly planting a seed in my subconscious mind to go back to that past self, and all of the belief systems that rolled with that were not serving me. How do I know about those belief systems? Well, I know about them through emotion code. So I do emotion code therapy. You can go back and listen to the episode with Amanda Monjour. She really explains emotion code, and she is an emotion code practitioner. And you can reach out to her if you want to explore that. But that modality has completely served me with all of the years of the therapy that I've had. It has really been able to, I've been able to suss out the beliefs that have not served me in my long-term recovery, like the things that I still haven't let go of. And it's just been such a blessing. And it has also given me such clarity like I've never had before, even with schooling. I have my master's degree and I'm board certified practitioner now in quantum biology. Even with all of that, like doing that emotion code work has really served me to understand the subconscious and understand how to embody the person that I want to become and the person that I am, the person that I'm being. We want to speak in the present, right? So this is another reason that I do not say I'm an addict, because then I plant a seed in my subconscious. And hello, I've done enough work to reverse those and let go of and be aware of those old beliefs that weren't serving me, that I certainly do not want to be saying I'm an addict and confusing my subconscious mind. I have a really great teacher who taught me, like, we don't want to confuse the universe. We don't want to confuse our subconscious. And we want to think of it like going to a movie theater. When you go to a movie theater, and I credit Kathleen Cameron, she does a beautiful job explaining this. So so you go to a movie theater and you expect to watch a movie, right? You paid to go see a certain movie. You know you're going to see that movie till the beginning to the end. Well, and I'm sharing this because it was an issue for me. Like I was always confusing my subconscious with things, and also confusing my subconscious with the identity I was trying to create for myself. So when we roll that movie, we sit down, we're watching it, and what if the person that was in charge of the movie was flipping the movie on you every 5, 10 minutes to a different movie? You'd be quite confused. You wouldn't know what you were watching. And that's what we do when we are not consistent with what we want to in our lives, what we want to believe. And I'm also sharing this too because it's the beginning of the year. People are creating their goals, they're doing their vision boarding, they're doing all these things. We want to create the new person we want to be. We want to become that in and embody that in 2025. The math around this year, I don't know if you've seen any of the math around 2025, but it's pretty amazing. Just look at that up. But this is a this is an amazing year, and we want to go into it definitely putting that correct language into our subconscious. And that language should always serve us for good. And saying I'm an addict or I'm an alcoholic is not going to serve your subconscious, because your subconscious is then going to take that as your identity, and the behaviors that are associated with that will just be consistent. And we can change our beliefs. We can change the subconscious programming that's going. And it takes a lot of hard work that you definitely don't want to be deterring yourself. So I think I've nailed that point home. I think I've repeated myself actually, and I apologize if I did. And now the third reason that I don't like to say I'm an addict. So many of you have heard us talk about water on the Quantum Healthy podcast. And I've talked about water a little bit on this podcast. I have yet to do a deep dive on the topic of water, but I want to share with you today that the water in our body is very special water. So we are taught that in school that water comes in three phases. It comes in a gas, a liquid, and a solid. Well, if you grab your arm right now, you know that you are not a water balloon. You're more of a solid, but we're certainly not ice. So, what is the water that's in our body? Because from a weight perspective, we're about 70% water. And from a molecular perspective, we are 99% water. So, our bodies are we're an electric being, and that electricity is in this beautiful water called easy water. That stands for exclusion zone water. And if you want to dive into that topic, I highly recommend a book by Dr. Jared Pollack, and it's called The Fourth Phase of Water. So if you want to dive into that. But this water is of gel-like consistency and holds charge. Things in our environment that dehydrate us, like our Wi-Fi, like our uh, cordless devices, like our indoor environment, all of these things dehydrate the water. And and this water is very highly structured. And we can actually do things to our bulk water, which is the liquid water that we drink, right? We can do things to that water to make body more accepting of that, so we can actually hydrate, because there's many things that we need to do to hydrate our body, not just drink water. And most certainly if you're drinking tap water, you may want to consider not to do that, because that is very, very positively charged and it has a lot of chemicals in it that we do not want to be drinking that water. So, because that's far from structured. Now, I have a couple devices. I have the Mia water device, and then I also have an Aqua Energizer from the wellness, the wellness enterprise. And I can put those links in the show notes if you're interested in those. But those devices basically take my filtered water, and the Mia device just can take regular water, and it breaks up the chemical bonds in all of the chemicals, and it allows for the water to be more positively charged, because the tap water and regular bulk water is positively charged. We don't want to drink positively charged. We want it to be negatively charged, which brings it closer to the structured water. Vortexing your water is going to put those bonds in a more structured state. Now, structured is a beautiful crystal-like structure that's a hexagon. That's what we want, because that's what's in our bodies, right? So now think about the work of Dr. Emoto and the fact that, he was putting the word love or hate on a petri dish, right? And then he was flash freezing that water, and he was getting these beautiful crystal formations. You could also look up Veda Austin. She actually just put out a book that's so beautiful with all these pictures. And what you will find is that things that are positive would structure the water in these beautiful, like, just very organized, almost, like snowflake like structures in the water. That's how the crystallography would show up. Now, when things were more negative, like negative music or negative words, that would actually show up as really jagged and disorganized, not coherent water. And that's going to also be a more positively charged water, because there's no coherence. And so think about when we say I'm an addict or an alcoholic, and what that does on our water, our body water. Think about what your negative thoughts do on your body water. It's not serving us for our identity. It's not serving us for our subconscious mind, and it is not serving our body's water, because we can imprint things on our water. And it's very, very important that we talk kindly to ourselves, because our water is reading those messages. So that's all I'll say on that. And then also I don't have it next to me. Shoot. But it's a blue bottle. We recently interviewed Kate and Rade on our podcast. She is the founder of Blue Bottle Love. I will put a link in the show notes for that. And this water bottle, it basically reflects the beautiful blue. So I put my structured water in there after it flows either through my Mia or through my Aqua Energizer, and it goes into the blue bottle, and the blue bottle keeps it structured and with intention, because there's a sandblasted message on the bottle. And the reason I love this bottle is because, you guys, we drink water constantly all day long. There's no way you're always going to be able to, before you take a sip of water, put intention and love into that water. Now, I do have a habit of swirling my water. Like when I drink it, I will like swirl the water before I drink it, even though I've structured and swirled it and done all the things before. But I just have a habit of doing that. And the reason I love the blue bottle is because it does that work for you. So I highly recommend that water bottle. And also, exploring the topic of water. It's very, very important, because this is what our bodies are made out of. So it's just really important to know that the water that we're putting in our body, we want the dehydration from our modern world environment. We want our body to become hydrated. And there's many ways that we can hydrate our body with, when we gain electrons, that is a part of hydration. And the water is very, very important. So those are the three reasons: identity, subconscious, and water. And I hope that this was informative for you. I hope that you took something away from this today, and you have all of my blessing to use what I use if you want to say that you are a grateful human in recovery. When you are in a meeting, you can totally steal that from me. I give you permission. You can create your own identifier, how you want to imprint on your subconscious and on your body water every single time you speak into your new identity. What do you want your new identity to be? I am a human. I am so, so grateful, and I am in recovery, which means I am loving on myself all the time. So I'm harnessing that message of love every single time I have to say that. And I don't just say that in meetings. Will say that to myself. That's a part of what I want to affirm to myself, because to me, recovery means love. It does not mean that that I'm constantly broken and I'm constantly in recovery and need some kind of healing. That's not the definition that serves me. It truly means love. So I hope you received this message today. I hope you have a great start to your new year, and I will see you next time. Drink water. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found value in this information. And if you did, please share it. Another way to support the podcast is to leave a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can message me on Instagram or email me at ANDEEARAE@outlook.com. And remember, drink water.